attention was, of course, to
her.
at the front. And honestly, I didn't care about the others. I was just like, no, I'm going to focus on if she's enjoying it, then the rest can enjoy the view.
It's the kind of thing, yeah, they got their view, they got each other to talk to, and if Wen's travelling by herself or... it doesn't matter who they're traveling with, it's still a struggle to get to the top.
Yeah.
Everyone else can talk to each other, can look at the things, point out, oh, see this down here, I saw this. They're enjoying the stories too, just as much as Wen is, just adding a bit more flair to help her understand a bit more, which I'm sure they'll appreciate too. Like, it's like, oh, I never thought about the sun on my face with the heat going to the east. Like, I never thought about the glistening. Oh, they can look at the glistening water. Gives them a bit more to focus on for themselves, as well as it is for her.
Yeah. And that was one that I took away from that. That was just like, it was really, really cool.
I don't know.
The other two that didn't really have much of a callback, because that was another thing she wrote in later.
Oh, did she?
It was an email, and this was a fantastic experience, and once in a lifetime for her and all that sort of stuff. It was once in a lifetime for a lot of us, because bloody expensive. I think Jesse said, like, instead of paying for it, I'll just get paid for it.
Yeah, paying for it,
I didn't have that in my mind, but definitely when it was going through, I was like, oh, I'm so glad I paid for that. I've met so many people who go like, oh, I've never done the bridge, and they've lived their entire life in Sydney, and it's like, wow, okay.
Which brings me back to a point that we were talking about before we started the show today of doing things in your own backyard. It's one of those things, you're looking at it every day. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You see the new World Trade Center in New York. You see the Freedom Tower. You see the Statue of Liberty. You see Tower Eye of London. Obviously Pyramids of Egypt, because they live there, they see it every day. But I guess most of the tourists go to do those things, but you don't do those things. Traveling to like the Great Wall of China. Now I could list 1,000 other places, but in Sydney you got the Opera House, the Bridge, Centre Point Tower, Botanic Gardens, those things. Government House, of course, Government House.
High on the list.
But these are things that, like, they're in your backyard. You see them. I'll do them one day, because it's not as attractive to you as the exotics. As an example I mentioned, do you spend $1,000 to go travel overseas to New Zealand, to Bali, wherever, but you got your whole backyard here because it's just there. I'll do it when I'm older. I'll do it later. I'll do it another time. I'll spend my money elsewhere and then come back to Australia, when you never know when your next day is going to be.
No, exactly.
You never know, like, when, if she was born like that, or if she lost her vision in life, then you don't get to appreciate the things that are around you. So that's one of the things I took for granted from bridge climb. I lived in Sydney once before for 4 years during an apprenticeship, and never did anything like that in Sydney. And then now coming back down to New South Wales after my little journey, doing these things and being a tour guide and opening myself to do these touristy things within the city, and then telling other people about them. I didn't even know this was here. Like the Government House, for example, I didn't know that was there until I found out you worked there.
I didn't know it existed until they accidentally applied.
And you guys don't know, probably didn't know about it now until you listen to this episode. So now's your excuse to get in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, carry on with the next two.
Yeah. So it didn't really get too much feedback with the other two, but I think a really amazing experience for both Government House and Parliament House is the fact that I told myself that for both experiences and both roles, there's only been ever, same with bridge climb really, but there's only ever been so many people who've done that role in all of history. So there's Australia with the European settlement is only so young. It's only like 200 years or something. But for the rest of the world, it's ancient.
Yeah.
But even then, for people working at Government House Sydney as a guide, or even just being able to experience all this stuff that happens there, only ever so many people that you could probably have on one hand that you could, or two hands that you could count. But especially at Parliament House, because it wasn't just guiding at that time, it was also a chamber attendant. So which meant that during sitting days, when they actually sat to debate bills and basically the function of democracy, one of your roles as a guide and chamber attendant is to sit in the chamber. Now, this is even an extra level of exclusivity, because when the chamber is sitting with the members there, no one else, except technically the members, are allowed on the floor of Parliament. Now, as an attendant, and there's also clerks as well who sit at the table to advise all the procedural stuff, as an attendant, you get to step over and go onto the floor, which again, only however many people in all of history of Australia and the world have stepped on the oldest parliament floor in all of Australia. So that was a pretty amazing experience for me, which then I tried to convey to a lot of the guests and visitors to that chamber, because in comparison to the rest of the world democracies, so Greece or even America, we were only so young, but being that sort of exclusivity of being representatives and being able to serve the democracy is pretty amazing. It's pretty cool. And then you went up to the upper house, so then your experience was spoiled because you went there. But again, down at Government House, the people who come in are exclusive, not because of like old school, upper class, lower class. Nowadays, it's actually for people getting awards and recognised for service for the people of New South Wales and Australia. So a lot of the time it's investitures, so a lot of the awards being invested by the Governor of New South Wales to the people. And these are just amazing people who either did a massive amount of research as doctors into cancers and into other fields of medicine, or anything really, scientists, but also just you and me. If we did 20 years of volunteering or something, someone can nominate you as Order of Australia, and you can then be recognised on that very special day. And being part of that as a guide at Government House, because we also help with the events, talking about portraiture and whatever. It's really, really special to be able to say that, you always get the statement of like, wow, you work in an amazing place. And I was like, yeah, I do, because it's part of that history, but also that relatively exclusive history as well. That might sound elitist, but
it's not. It's even not just with here, like tour guiding and guiding, being in a situation like that is not. It's an intimate group of small people that where again no one else has done this. No one else knows what you know. No one else. And not like a snobbish way, but it's nobody maybe thinks about it, or they might look down upon it. But there's so much knowledge, there's a wealth of experience about the history of what the Parliament's doing, what Australia's done, where it's come from, where it's going to. That's a lot of people just overlook. They walk past it and have no idea that this is an option to even learn about.
That's true. That's true. Because in Parliament, just like Government House, is also free.
Which I didn't even know either.
Yeah, probably before you walked in on that day, did you know you could just walk in?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
No clue. I actually didn't even know where it was.
Yeah, there you go. Because every time I was saying I was moving off to Parliament from Bridgecline, in Canberra.
Yeah, that's what everyone said. That's what I thought too.
Yeah, but that's natural. It's fine, because that's the one that's always on TV.
Yeah.
But it is funny to think there's like, oh no, the one that's Macquarie.
It's just dead around.
It's just around. And I don't know. It's interesting. That was my big effort to try and encourage that sort of. The interesting thing is with Bridgecline, yes, you get a lot of internationals that come and experience it, of course, but you also got a lot of Aussies and a lot of other locals. But Government House in Parliament is a lot of tourists, like for the institutes that they are and who they actually affect. Not a lot of locals come in, so come in. It's free, guys. Both places are free. No, but yeah, like it's really interesting just how, again, it's that we don't do stuff in our backyard.
No.
I remember you mentioned New York City. Went over there, and a cabbie even mentioned, I've never been to Liberty Island or whatever the Statue of Liberty is on.
Yeah.
Never been there. Never been to the Wall Street or any of the tourist traps, as you will, or the historical elements of Manhattan.
And they just live their lives.
Crazy, isn't it? I mean, yeah, if someone turned around to me, because I'm a big nerd, I probably have been wherever in Sydney. But, Joe Bloggs on the street, I'd be like, nah.
Well, they're free to go to the Government House and Parliament House. There's a lot of museums through Sydney, which is the Sydney History Museum scheme. And I've come up with my own interpretation with this, which I convey in my tours, that with Sydney being so fresh, with Australia as a federation in 1901, 1st January 1901, and only 237 years old. There's still a lot of fresh recorded history from when the colonialism happened here, but also 60,000 years of history beforehand that a lot of us aren't privy to for the culture, and that's absolutely fine.
Also just broken.
And it's broken as well with a lot of what's happened with, obviously, genocides and things like that have happened. But a lot of the museums in Sydney are free for, I believe, there's no fact behind this, is to try and keep Australians in the world learning about Australian history from where it pretty much was first recorded, as best they can, for people from all around the world to come to Sydney and learn about whatever they can, from Indigenous history to colonial 1800s bushrangers, even to events that are happening around right now. So if you do come to Sydney, a lot of places like this are free to go into. Yes, there's the paid museums that you get a chance to go into, but there's such an array of information out there that people just ignore, and there's people wanting to tell these stories.
Yeah.
That are sitting there waiting for people just to come by and say good day.
Absolutely. And I always argue that the need for people like us who tell stories and actually convey it to the person, we're not recordings.
No.
We don't say the same thing over and over again. No. We don't say the same beats. We always try, or I definitely could tell you.
I definitely do it too.
Where you try and gauge the group and tell stories that fit to them and how it would entertain them.
Yes.
We're talking about historic houses, Sydney or whatever they're called now, sorry. The barracks in particular. So this is the historical barracks on Macquarie Street, just past Parliament. They've gone away with all their guides. They've basically got headsets that tell stories now.
And it moves, as you move through the barracks, it's connected to whatever the wavelengths are in the room, and then it changes the story as you leave through one doorway to another.
Which is absolutely amazing for technology and dynamics, and I appreciate it. Like, I quite like it, because then you get the different element where I can't tell you what a Scottish accent sounds like properly, and it's going to sound hell weird for me, especially just standing in front of you. But they add the dynamics of all the sounds, the everything like that.
To immerse you into the...
To immerse you, yeah. But if you have a question, you can't ask anyone. And then you can't get a tailored experience. And everyone's going to get the same experience. Yeah. And also the annoying thing I experienced was that if I slightly shifted, it stopped.
Yeah. And then you had to go back.
And then you go back. And it repeats itself. Yeah. Like, oh, no. But be that as it may. So that's always in the back of my mind as well with these guiding places, is that, yeah, going forward, automation. Yeah. It's the Industrial Revolution all again.
It is.
We might lose our jobs.
God damn, I had the robots.
That's right. But I always say thank you to AIs whenever I ask them to do stuff.
Thank you very much for it.